So, some of you may have heard the rumor that Apple will not be including earpods, wired ones, in the iPhone boxes this year, which, yeah, I can tell. I can tell you're upset. I get it, I know you're mad, but it sounds like they might also not include a charger either, which, but I'm here to tell you why that's okay, and why you should be okay with it. 1 second, I'm sorry, just give me... Tim, they're not buying it. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I stood by you so many times. The check hasn't cleared yet. No, it hasn't. You owe me one, Tim. Remember Ben Okay, all right. So let's talk about no charger or headphones with the iPhones this year. Let's begin. I'm not going to try and pretend like you guys should be okay with this, alright? I understand why so many people are frustrated, but I'm also known for playing devil's advocate, and because I've been known for Apple's defense lawyer for such a long time, and I actually think there are some decent reasons here, yeah, let me tell you why I think this might not be the worst thing in the world. First of all, I totally warned y'all, okay? You can't get too mad because back when we originally saw the leaked pricing for the iPhone 12, 12 Max, 12 Pro, and 12 Pro Max, that is a mouthful, but yeah, we all thought the prices were too good to be true. Starting at $650 and still rocking 5G and A14 chip, the first 5nm CPU in a phone, OLED display, squared off edges with a drastic new redesign, and all of that was going to be starting $50 cheaper than the iPhone 11 lineup. And for the 12 Max, the 6.1-inch OLED iPhone, you could get it for $750 with all these great camera features, Face ID improvements, the OLED display. Like, compared to other smartphones that were gaining 5G this year, this was too good to be true. There was no way Apple was going to be able to redesign the iPhone, which almost always comes with a price hike, add these new modems, add these new CPU capabilities, and make the iPhone overall better and still keep the price around basically where it is today. I thought that was too good to be true. I just did not think it was possible. And I did say in that video that if this does end up happening, Apple's probably going to end up cutting some corners elsewhere. And Ming-Chi Kuo, who has a very reliable track record, particularly with iPhones, he is also now saying that Apple is not going to be shipping a charger or earpods with the iPhone. And alright, I'll go over the reasons why you should be upset about that. For one, we've always had a charger and headphones included with the iPhone, so why change it now, right? A lot of you use the charger that ships with your iPhone. I did a Twitter poll on this. The vast majority of you love using the charger your phone ships with, particularly if it ships with a fast charger. You get to keep on utilizing that for years to come. And it also just makes sense. It's part of tradition that if you buy a phone, you get something that helps you charge that phone. Why wouldn't you provide that? Why isn't that an option? And why is no one else in the industry doing that to this day? Even $200 Androids, it feels like, get fast chargers shipped with them these days. So why is Apple cheaping out here, right? Well, I think part of the reason Apple is considering this is because this is such a high volume product compared to their other ones. For the record, no, this isn't exactly the first time Apple has done something like this, because in years prior, Apple did not include a charge brick with the iPod Touches, and those sold pretty well, and they were just like, hey, you get the USB cable, you can find your own charger, okay? And because e-waste is a growing problem in our world, and there's so many cables that end up not being used, and there's so many charge bricks that ship with phones, and people just kind of leave in the box, and they end up in landfills, people end up throwing them out, or just not using them. I know I've got a big box full of cables and chargers that I don't need to use anymore, and we're gonna donate them or recycle them to others. And because Apple produces so dang many of these phones compared to all their other products, there's not really another device Apple produces more of than, their flagship iPhones, to the point that Apple's thinking, you know what, we've been doing this for a while. We've been shipping iPhones since 2007, 2008, and we've been shipping the Lightning charger since the iPhone 5 way back in 2012. So that's 8 years now of us shipping a Lightning charger with a cable and a brick with every single iPhone, and Apple's just decided that they're going to start assuming if you're buying the iPhone 12, 12 Max, 12 Pro, any one of these iPhones, you probably already have a Lightning charger of some kind, either from your previous iPhone, or even if you're switching from an Android. Let me be clear here. The leak still says that they're shipping a cable with the iPhone, so it's still getting a Lightning to USB-C cable. I think that's what the report is saying, which means that even if you're switching from Android and you've never bought an iPhone before, you would still probably have a charge brick with USB-C somewhere. And if you don't, okay, I guess that one use case is probably out of luck, and now you have to go buy a charge brick from Apple, or as Ming Chi Kuo was saying, Apple's working on this new 20-watt charge brick that's supposed to replace both the 5-watt bricks and the 18-watt charge brick, which Apple is apparently going to be phasing out by the end of this year, which means it's possible in the coming months that the iPhone SE will not even ship with a 5-watt charge brick, but we don't know that for sure. But I think an argument can be made. I know it's not one you want to hear, and I know you're still angry about this because 99% of you are just going to view this as Apple's cheaping out their profit margins. They're stupid. They should just give us all fast chargers for free. I get that, but my point is that Apple has to include all of this stuff with the iPhone purchase, and if they're trying to have really competitive pricing, like we've heard, and they're undercutting so many Android alternatives, yet still having 5G support, still having these great features we've talked about in previous videos, that Apple is looking to cut corners basically wherever they can so that they can still ensure a profit margin. And let me phrase it this way. Imagine if at checkout for the iPhone 12, by the way, I don't think this will happen, this is just hypothetical, but imagine if when checking out the iPhone 12, they automatically selected to include a charger and earpods, and that made your iPhone $40 more. Okay? And you could save $40 off your iPhone purchase if you just unchecked those and said, no, I don't need headphones, I don't need a charger because I already have one. I bet all of you would do it if it was optional to not get those and you could just get your iPhone in the mail and yeah, you just use your old charger, or as many of you are switching to wireless charging now, Apple's not shipping that with their iPhones either, so why bother including a lightning cable when so many of us have a lot of them? And for the record, yes, I know, there are some of you who are not tech YouTubers or some of you who are not techie people or people you know in your personal life that don't have as many lightning cables as you do. What about them, right? What are they supposed to do? Well, I think Apple's just finally saying, we think the majority of our users, with the popularity of the iPhone trade-in program, and that trade-in program doesn't require you to bring in your old charger, Apple's seeing how many people already have lightning cables and already have charge bricks of their own, so to reduce the e-waste and provide competitive pricing, which I do think is important here, Apple has to ensure certain profit margins for their company to stay afloat, and if they want their iPhones to be priced in such a way that have such premium features, cutting corners like this is what allows us to have competitive pricing for the iPhone overall. And if we can have the option to not include a charger and headphones to reach those competitive prices, you know, if you knew you could save 30 to 40 bucks on your iPhone purchase by not including a charger and headphones with it, I bet a lot of you would do it. And yes, Apple is kind of taking the liberty of making that decision for everyone with this choice, but in my opinion, I don't know exactly how they're going to handle it. Of course, we're still in leak town, so it's not for sure happening. Mass production hasn't even started yet, so there's still time for Apple to decide what they want to do. But in my opinion, the best way to handle this would be, okay, so no charge brick, no headphones get shipped with the iPhone. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I get why we're upset, but this is how Apple ensures their profit margins and makes sure their iPhones can have competitive pricing. However, if you are ordering an iPhone, I think Apple should give you a significant discount on buying a fast charger or even buying AirPods, which was rumored about earlier this year as well. So I think that could justify it a lot because, again, lightning cable's still going to be included with the box. It's just a charge brick they're not including. So imagine if when checking out an iPhone 12, when they're asking you like what accessories you want, they're like, hey, since you're buying the new iPhone 12, you can buy the new 20-watt fast charge brick for only $10 instead of, 30 or whatever they would charge for it now. And it would only be discounted if you were buying an iPhone. And when it comes to packaging, I know some of you are like, well, because Apple's producing so many iPhones, they can't make versions of the iPhone with no charger and versions of the packaging with a charger. That's too complicated. They need to streamline the whole process. I get that. So I'm just saying, if someone specifically requests like spending an extra $10 to get the fast charger, then just ship it in a separate box as we currently are shipping them in. And those boxes are recyclable materials, so it's fine. And maybe give them, similar to the back to school deal, when you're buying a Mac or an iPad, you can get regular AirPods for free and AirPods with wireless charging case for an extra $40 or AirPods Pro for an extra $90. Doing something like that with the iPhone 12, I don't think it'll be free. That would be too far, but reducing it to maybe under $100 for a new pair of AirPods just when you're ordering a new iPhone, I think is a good way they can smooth all this over and make people feel okay about not having headphones included with the iPhone or not having a charger included. But the truth is, we live in a very different world than we did many, many years ago when people were just adopting smartphones and people were getting comfortable with Apple's new charge ports and things like that. And I think Apple acknowledging that Lightning is basically everywhere now and most people have a Lightning cable, and if you don't, you probably at least have a charge brick of some kind that you could plug a Lightning cable into, and trying to reduce e-waste and try trying to make it a win for the environment. I think ultimately it's the right thing to do, but I also expect Apple to get heavily criticized for it. And what's funny is so many people are going to be mad about this, and it really has nothing to do with the iPhone 12 at all. The product itself is still going to be really cool, and I think people are going to love the new design language and the new features and all that, but it's just the packaging and what's included with it that's going to tick everybody off. And yes, Apple will get memed to death. The next iPhone doesn't come with a phone. I'm so creative. Like my comment. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get a ton of those things. I'm not even going to be surprised if people meme Apple to death for this, but truth is, I imagine all other companies probably to follow through with it and do the exact same thing within a couple of years of the iPhone 12 as well. So let me know what you guys think of not including a charger by hitting me up over on Twitter. Join my Discord. We can chat more about it there. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.